So thank you all for waiting, appreciate it. So good afternoon, thank you for joining me for Donuts and Doorways. Just want to remind y'all, please don't get them mixed up. I don't want anybody, I want anybody trying to walk through some donuts or eat some doorways. Please don't mix them up. Because if you do, we'll pray for healing later. So I do want to thank y'all so much. So before we dive in, I want to thank you all. I'm Coach Trev. I'm an accountability coach, and so my tagline is the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide. All right? So I help people to help them with their goals in regards to gaining clarity. So whatever your goal is, if you wanted to start a business, if you wanted to write a book, if you wanted to get a certificate, a degree, and anything along those lines, what I do is I help you define what your goal is, and also help you to make sure you stay on top of taking those steps in order to achieve it. Does that make sense? So basically hold you accountable for that. So those are things that I've been doing. I've been doing it for about 20 years. So, and I've traveled to almost all 50 states and a couple of continents. So been around a little bit. So, but I'm glad to be able to be here in Grenada and y'all had some time. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The Doorways of Life, was because we all go through transitions in life. And so, and I've always wanted to write a book, and I said, well, what's something that I can really begin to write on? So I started making videos about it. And my coach, because although I'm a coach, I have a coach. Like your coach should have a coach, your doctor should have a doctor, your preacher should have a preacher. So they suggested that to me, and thus this is the fruition, is the doorways of life. So that's why I'm here. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about some breakthrough moments. This is gonna be real interactive. I'm gonna share some stories, and we're gonna have some fun. Is that all right? All right. And it's gonna be interactive, so y'all be ready. Don't be silent on me now. Sitting back there, okay? So before I dive in, so show of hands, who here has walked through a doorway today? I know y'all walked through a doorway, y'all had to come in here. That's right. I was just testing y'all, making sure y'all was paying attention. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And as I said, first we're gonna talk about what life doorways are. What's life's doorways? All right. And so I wanted to quote, since we've been talking about it, I feel this is a good thing. Quote a scripture. So the scripture, as I says in Revelations 3:8, God says, "I have set before you an open door." And so life is full of doorways that He places before us. So I want to explain to you what a doorway is. So when it comes to doorways are opportunities. They're new seasons. They're different transitions we make in life. So we've had birthdays, we've had positions, we've had retirement, those type of things. So those are doorways. Those are the different things that we go through and that we transition in. And so when it comes to those doorways, it's how do we handle it? How do we move to make sure sometimes we can overthink something and we get stuck, but our goal really is to be sure that we're walking in all that we're designed to do. Does that make sense? So it's important that when we walk through that, some of us, like for instance, some of us grew up here. Some of us moved to this area. So if you moved to this area or stayed in this area, you made a decision. That was a doorway. That was something that you decided to do because that helped you become who you are. So it's important to make sure you think about that. So I want you to think about a doorway that you've been through recently. And that doorway could be marriage, it could be retirement, it could be learning, that moment when you decided to follow a particular faith, and it even could be when there may have been a family member that passed, because that's a doorway. Because even then you can decide whether you want to stay where you are or whether you want to move on and remember them as they were. That makes sense? So every doorway we have requires a choice. Either you can stay where you are or you can step through it. So let's talk about some of the